Major funding for these broadcasts is made possible by grants from Capital One Bank, New York Community Bank, Eastern Consolidated, M&T Bank, Sterling National Bank, Meridian Capital Group, Customers Bank, Ariel Property Advisors, Dime Community Bank. Additional funding is made possible by grants from AM Trust Title, AVR Realty Company, Avison Young, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Bank Leumi USA, Briarwood Organization, CBRE, Chase Commercial Term Lending, Chase Commercial Mortgage, Citizens Bank, CPEX Real Estate Services, Colliers International NYC, Cohen Equities, Collins Building Services, Douglaston Development, Levine Builders, Flushing Bank, Friedman LLP, Handler Real Estate Organization, Handro Properties, Hodges Ward Elliott, Inc., Investors Bank, James D. Kuhn Real Estate Institute at Syracuse University, Kilroy Architectural Windows, Madison Realty Capital, Matone Group, Mercantile Bank, New Banks, Newmark Knight Frank, Optimum Window Manufacturing Corp., People's United Bank, Rockefeller Group, Rosewood Realty Group, SJP Properties, Stonehenge Partners, TD Bank, Terra CRG, the Meringoff Family Foundation, the Moynihan Organization, Moynihan Capital Partners, and these friends.
It's called the Lower East Side. It's called the East Village. Lots of things are taking place in this market. There's major development, there's hospitality, there are apartments, there are retail, there's office buildings even being built. So today I've assembled this group of real estate leaders to provide their insight on what's happening in the Lower East Side and the East Village. My guests, they include Shai Shamir, who is the CEO of Brack Capital Real Estate, USA. Charlie Bendit, who is the co-founder and the co-CEO of Taconic Investment Partners. And last but not least, from Paris, France, Laurent Morali, who is the president of the Kushner Companies. You've been in the business for many years. When did you decide that you were going to get active and build this monstrosity on size, a massive size, Essex Crossing?
Well, we responded to a city RFP, which came out in February of 2013. And we were asked to join a partnership between L&M Development Partners and BFC Partners, who are affordable housing developers. They've done other things besides affordable housing, but they have spent their careers in developing affordable housing, and they wanted someone who had some experience in retail and office and higher-end luxury condos. So they brought us in and asked if we'd want to join them.
Now, this is a development of 9 square blocks?
9 blocks and 1.9 million square feet. It's 9 different properties, mostly along Delancey Street.
Now, this stood dormant for close to 50 years, right?
Yeah, since 1960s, yeah.
What's part of the development?
Well, we're building, in total, we'll have over 1,000 units, half of which will be affordable. And affordability ranges from 37% of area median income all the way up to 155% of area median income.
For my audience, 37% is what, about
so for a family
42,000?
Well, a family of 4, the area median income is 98,000. So call it 100,000. It's having an income of 37,000 a year, a family of 4. And they would pay about a third of that for their housing costs.
Now, part of what you are building is affordable condominiums also.
Yeah. We have 11 affordable condos. We have our first condo building is 55 units, 11 of which are affordable. And that affordability is for the families that are making up to 125% of area median income.
And you also have a senior building.
We have 2 senior buildings, one of which is beginning construction shortly. The other one is 100 units. It's built and is being occupied shortly. That's on Clinton and Delancey Street. That's 100 units of affordable units for seniors.
Now, let's talk about you and hospitality.
Over 10 years ago, when we identified a good market for hospitality. Back then, 2005 was the first Rivington Hotel that basically opened then, and call it around 110 rooms. 2007, there were probably around 65,000 hotel rooms in Manhattan, so not a lot in the entire area. So we assembled a land on Bowery and Spring, beginning of 07, 08. And then in 2011, we purchased a pretty large parcel on Houston, and it's a through block between Ladlow and Orchard. And the idea was there is the next neighborhood. When we started in 07, there were plenty of kitchen equipment stores, but we saw it coming. Of course, the nightlife, the art, the galleries, it all started back then. And when we developed the Indigo Hotel that opened exactly 2 years ago, November of 2015, the idea was actually to tell the story of the Lower East Side through that hotel. And there are many stories to the Lower East Side. There is the immigration story, there is the story, of course, of the Jews and the Italians and the Germans that came and lived there, but it's being told by the Tenement Museum. And there is a story of lifestyle, and we told the story of art. And we commissioned Lee Quinones, who's an artist that back in late 70s, beginning of the 80s, started with a graffiti movement and painted on the subways. And then from the subways went out to the street. And from the street art, moved to the galleries. So all that story, together with Lee Quinones, a beautiful mural that we have in the lobby, is being told throughout the hotel. And what was unique about the hotel, and I think specifically about the Lower East Side in that essence, that our partners on that hotel is Intercontinental Hotel Groups, which is one of the top 3 large operators in the world. And together, we developed that hotel. And for them, it's, in essence, it's the first chained hotel that was built in the Lower East Side.
Right, because all the other hotels were independents.
Right. And when we built the Indigo, and afterwards the Citizen M Hotel on that land that we bought on Bowery and Spring, there were probably around 300 rooms in the Lower East Side back then, together with Thompson and Ladlow Hotel and some other hotels. Today there are probably between 1,500 to 2,000 hotels in that area.
Let's talk about the Citizen. What is the Citizen?
Citizen, it's a brand that we brought from Europe. We call it affordable luxury, but it's a really boutique lifestyle brand.
What's affordable luxury? It's based on the size of the room, or is
it's
it
based on the
amenities?
concept that today, what is luxury today for a business traveler? You don't need necessarily a doorman with white glove open the door for you. You want to come into the hotel, you want to get a quick ability to check in by yourself, you can go right to the room, and then get a full experience. High-tech technology, you can control the room with a tablet, and then the common areas are large. So yes, affordable luxury means that the rooms are efficient. But the idea is that you don't need more than that
efficient
today.
is now really perfect to go to Laurent with regard to your apartments.
It's the perfect transition, I agree.
Tell me about your apartments.
I agree.
In
Well,
the East Village and the Lower East Side.
East Village, yeah, we started buying apartments there in 2012, and we've built a portfolio of walk-up buildings.
Mostly walk-ups or all walk-ups?
Mostly walk-ups. We have a couple
So
of
the
elevator
buildings, for my audience, these buildings were built in probably 1900 to 1920 because
That's right.
that's when the world changed.
That's right. And they're, for the most part, 5, 6, sometimes 7-story buildings. And it's all about efficiency, right? So the play has been to create apartments with as many bedrooms as you can put in them. And so essentially we end up with 2 to 3 bedroom apartment in 500.
As many as 4 bedrooms also.
The 4-bedroom might be 600 square feet.
So your apartments are 2 bedrooms. Are there any studios or not really?
We have a few of them, but I would say most of them are 1, 2, 3. We even have 5-bedroom apartments, and they all consist of a small living area with a kitchen, and then
Right, with a washer dryer, the wine cooler.
pretty much.
There's no living room.
It's very efficient. It is a living room. We could actually have this show in one of the living rooms over there one day.
By the way, I'm hearing now that a new model is building separate rooms that people rent the room, and you don't necessarily know your
Yeah.
cohabitants.
See, but in essence, that is what Common is.
Common is doing.
Basically, you rent a room and you have no idea. You
Right.
also have that same situation in We Live.
Yeah.
Here, your situation is basically it could be his daughters moving into an apartment with certain other friends. Who signs the lease?
Usually we have one party sign the lease, but we've done leases with 2 parties. We're pretty flexible.
And what's the average age of the tenancies in many of these buildings?
The average age is probably high 20s, low 30s. Yeah, that's the blend.
And how long do they stay?
It's short term. It's anywhere between 1 and 4 years on average. Obviously, we have tenants who are there also under rent stabilization rule, and so they're there for as long as they want to.
When you take over these apartments, you renovate them completely, you make them more efficient.
Yeah, we have a brand. So we have it's called Westminster, and so a lot of apartments will look the same red brick wall, the same chandeliers in the lobby.
What is attracting people to the Lower East Side and the East Village?
I think that today is one of the most authentic neighborhoods in New York still. I'm referring to the retail in the area, the nightlife. I think the same, in a way, a process that happened in the meatpacking, where it was like 15 years ago, and today you see the Apple stores and the new offices that are being
talking
built.
just because he's the landlord of a nice Apple store on 14th Street?
But it's changing. It's beautiful, but it's changing in a way the authentic.
I agree. It's authentic, and there's another part of it. There's another element, the grittiness. And I think people like that grittiness. If you've lived on the we're selling condos to people that are moving from the Upper East Side or moving in from the suburbs, empty nesters, and they like the authenticity of the neighborhood. They like the grittiness of the neighborhood. And you walk down Orchard Street or Ludlow Street, and it hasn't changed in many years.
Right.
You walk into Chinatown, you walk into Little Italy, and they still remain the same as they were 20, 30 years ago, even more. And people really like that.
Let's talk about the retail that you're building right now in the Lower East Side.
So we have about 450,000 square feet of retail space. We lease to Regal Theaters, so we're going to have the first major movie theater in
How
the
many
Lower East
screens?
Side. 13 screens. We have a family bowling center called Splitsville. We have Trader Joe's, Target, and then we have what we call the Market Line. And in addition to which, by the way, the Essex Street Market is going to be moving from the north side of Delancey Street to the south side of Delancey Street on the corner of Essex. But we have this new concept called the Market Line, which will go from the lower level on Essex and Delancey underneath the Essex Street Market and span 3 blocks all the way east to Clinton Street under Norfolk and under Suffolk streets. And that's going to be a 700-foot long, 150,000 square foot market line with food and retailers. You know, there's a lot of synergies between what they're doing and what we're doing. And, you know, for people on the Lower East Side where you have apartments, I don't know that there's any Trader Joe or there's any movie theater nearby.
I think I went to the website. It said that you're looking for local vendors to take space, so you're not really caring, which is giving the authentic Lower East Side market over there. Talk to me about the vendors, what type of deals they're going to be able to get.
Well, the vendors in Essex Street Market, the current vendors and future vendors, are going to get a subsidized deal because it's really the city is owning that space. But the new tenants that are coming in are local shops like Nam Wah, who's a dumpling shop. They're well known in Chinatown. They're coming into the market line. For little shops like that are going to cater to all the people that live there currently and the more than 1,000 new residents that are moving into.
Now, one of the things that's happening in New York City is made in America, made in New York City. Are you going to have any clothing manufacturing or food production?
So we're going to have craft merchants that will be in Site 3, which is the one that is between Norfolk and Suffolk Street. That project is going to start development in about 3 months' time. That's where the other condominium building will be. We have 83 condos, and we have 350,000 square feet of office space in what we call Site 3 and Site 4, which are between Norfolk and Suffolk and between Suffolk and Clinton Streets.
Now, what type of office tenants do you think you're going to get?
I wouldn't be surprised if you get IBM or Verizon, or even who knew that Aetna would move from Hartford to the meatpacking district. So it's hard to know, but we think that a tenant who wants to distinguish themselves and create they want to be a pioneer in a neighborhood. Look, when Deutsche Advertising moved to 111 8th Avenue, they were a bit of a pioneer. When Google moved to 111 8th Avenue, they were a bit of a pioneer. They wanted to distinguish themselves. They wanted to differentiate themselves. And I think a tenant that is moving to the Lower East Side, they want to differentiate themselves, but they also want to be accessible to tenants, to their employees that might live in Brooklyn.
Right,
Or
and
that live in
also
different
people
ne-
live
or
in the
live
East
in the
Village
Lower
and
East
so on.
Side.
What are the rents going to be?
Well, you know, new office space today gets a premium. So right now in Hudson Yards, I don't think you can do a deal at less than $100 a square foot. In the meatpacking district, the rents are $130 to $160 a square foot. If 51 Astor was being released today, it would be well north of $100 a square foot. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get rents that are approaching those kinds of numbers. In Brooklyn,
Which numbers you said, I'm sorry?
close to $100 a square foot. For sure, I think we'll get rents in the 90s because it's a large block of space, it's got efficient floor plates, and it's accessible to companies' employees, whether they live in the Lower East Side, the East Village, they live in the financial district. We're accessible to Midtown, and I can get from where I live on the Upper West Side to Essex and Delancey Street in 25 minutes on the subway.
So here's a question. You also have a health center.
Right.
Tell me about that.
NYU Langone. Yeah, they are in the building on Clinton and Delancey Street where there's the 100 units of affordable for seniors. So they took 60,000 square feet there. You know, the whole medical profession is changing. So they're going to be a primary care facility, and they're going to be appealing to people that are on the Lower East Side that are looking to have their doctor's offices close by.
Same idea. Who are the people moving into your buildings?
We have a lot of students who are moving to the city, and they want to be in the East Village for the greeniness, for the culture, and the fun part of it. So it's a lot of that. Young executives. And usually, you know, once they start establishing a family, that's when they move out. But that's
when they move to
demographics.
Essex Crossing.
And that's when they move to Essex Crossing. And if I may, I would like to rebound on the office for 1 second. I think I was going to say that I think it's perfect evolution of what's happening. I think we've had the retail, we've had the residential, the hotel, and I think office is what this area needs. And I think
I mean,
so it
this
makes perfect
area
sense.
Yeah, there
has
is
had
no
no
There's no
office
office.
ever.
There's no office.
Right.
So for anyone who's actually thinking to differentiate themselves, create an identity, I think it's perfect. And I think the way you're pricing it is also very logical
Right.
compared to, you started mentioning Dumbo, so I was thinking about that. And so it makes perfect sense that this be, between obviously the west side and Dumbo, it's right in the
Right,
middle.
exactly.
Right. And I think just on the another word on our guest and
That's
what
what
we
I
see
was-
through that. Okay, so we think alike. On the corporate side, we get a lot of tech, high tech, creative tech, fashion, entertainment. That's during the week. And on the leisure side, and that's interesting. That's I think also answering the question about what's so unique about the Lower East Side, and is that a lot of the guests are actually not first timers to New York. The first timers, they like to go typically to Times Square, I think, right? Most of the hotel rooms in New York are in Times Square. And if you look at the global map of hotels in New York, probably a very low number is actually in downtown. And they would come only to experience the Lower East Side and to understand, when they understand that if they want to get a real New York experience, is the place to be. When you go to Times Square, it's great and convenient, but it's, we know New Yorkers don't really go to Times Square typically. So I think we see that.
Is there a specific age?
I think it's on the younger side, but we see also today what's old and what's young, right? Today it's
Charlie and I
Thank
are
you.
very,
I'm feeling very young.
Charlie and I are
Very
very
much.
happy with that comment.
But truthfully, you see, I mean, we have a bar called Mr. Purple, and the bar is open now again for 2 years at the Indigo Hotel, and it's amazing to see the amount of lines that we get there during the summer, and you see everybody. You see everybody
Here's
actually
a
coming
question which relates. Your investors are from where? Israel and around the world?
in. Yeah, pretty much.
So when you go to that investment group, say to them, I'm taking you to the Lower East Side, or I'm taking you to the East Village.
Right, so it's an excellent point, because when we actually went to look for debt to develop the
Indigo originally.
downtown, we had to go through a kind of educational series to tell lenders why we think it's the right place to be. So actually, the equity understood it. They saw we also developed the James Hotel in the Soho, and we opened it back in 2010. But when we started the development in 2007, same thing. There were maybe 2 or 3 hotels in the Soho. So coming to the Lower East Side, it was already obvious. You saw there again 2 hotels, makes a lot of sense. When you walk there during the day, today you see coffees, galleries, artists, but when you go there at night, it's a completely different environment. You go there at 2 a.m. If you go there at 2 a.m. But at 2 a.m. today you see places are packed.
It's only for you and Laurent.
Well,
You also saw
I go to sleep at 6 so that I can go out at
Makes you
2.
think he doesn't go there.
By the way, one of the exciting things about the Lower East Side and the East Village is the art scene. And that has been transforming the neighborhood. So the International Center for Photography is moving. It's going to be part of Essex Crossing. And why are they there? They went to the Bowery. They felt that this was a better venue for them. So they're moving to Essex Crossing. So there's an emerging and growing art scene on the Lower East Side.
So in the same vein that I asked Shai, how is it for you when you went out for debt on Essex Crossing?
Well, we had a good story to tell. So we had a good land basis, we had a good business plan, and we had a good equity partner in Goldman Sachs. So it made it a little bit easier, and there was a significant amount of equity that was going in. So it made it a little easier. We also had
I mean, but it was a spec office building.
Well, the two buildings that we're building now, one of them has 260 apartments, half of which will be affordable, and office space. So the affordable, the rental building makes it a little bit easier to finance that building. The building that we're building between Norfolk and Suffolk, between Delancey and Broome, with 83 condos, 175,000 feet of office and retail, was a
So
little
it's
bit
a
more
mixed use
speculative.
fact.
It's mixed use. But you know, there's a lot of capital available today. The debt funds are very aggressive in putting out money, and when they have a good project with good sponsorship, that's
So
something that
I'm
they
going
want
to ask somebody, I'm going to wear his other hat. As a debt fund, how do you look at investing in the Lower East Side or in the East Village? Because that's one of your hats.
Oh, as a lender, you mean? I mean, I think Charles nailed it. I mean, I think the sponsorship, the location, the basis, the amount of equity they're putting in the deal, and we happen to own a lot in the area, so we understand the area. I think the key is you have to go to someone who understands. It's always easier.
Do you have any retail in any of your?
A lot of the walk-up buildings we have do have a small retail store, so we do own some stores over there, some retail. It's mostly restaurants, hairdressers, salons. Very nice.
Restaurants in that area are so great. There's
So
a
hot.
theater on that we go to on East 4th Street. And you know, it's interesting when you go to different parts of the city,
Yeah.
and that I live on the Upper West Side. I don't go to the Lower East Side all that often, but when I go there,
But you're there more often
now. I'm there more often, and I can take the subway there, which is you know, which is fun to do every once in a while.
So I think in general, there's lots of things taking place in the Lower East Side and the East Village, and it's going to continue. And I'm pretty certain. I want you to take me on a tour of your spaces and your hotels, your properties. I've probably seen as
We'll do a
under
show
the
there.
bank.
We'll take you for a drink at Mr. Pelvel.
But you know, you're going to have to walk up 7 flights.
I've done that already for the bank.
We have an elevator.
I'd like to thank. No, I've done that for
That's the
New York
amenity.
Community Bank. I'd like to thank Shai, Charlie, Florent. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.